they're the artists, they're the bands. They gotta promote themselves sa mga venues or sa mga promoters na kahit hindi Pinoy. Dapat sila yung magsipag.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Chat with Nick. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited because we have one of the stalwarts of the Filipino American rock scene here in the house. Oh my gosh, he's an all around music fanboy. He's a producer, co founder of Happy Box. He's the founder of the local Pinoy scene. And my gosh, he's a fan of so many bands. I can't even mention all of them. Hey, how are you, Levan?
Hello, Mick. I'm good. Hello, people. What's up, homies? Yung mga rockstars dyan, what's up?
If you and I were meeting for the first time, how would you introduce your real self?
My real self. Wala. Just ganito lang. Parang, what's up, Mick? I'm Levan. Ganun lang. But you can call me Schizo.
Schizo, why? Why is that?
I've been using that moniker since 1991.
Why schizo?
Schizo. Well, originally I have this album by The Dawn called I Stand With You. On the back, di ba may mga credits doon. There was this, parang nag-thank you sila thanks to Schizo. So, nung nakita ko yun, parang bang, wow, Schizo. Ang ganda ng alias nun na. Tapos, I started using it. And schizo, syempre, short for schizophrenic. So parang feeling ko, parang ako lang yan. Paiba-iba yan ng itsura, ng mood or identity. So yun, schizo. Saka sarap pakinggan schizo. What's up, schizo?
Did you ever figure out who it was?
No.
No?
I never even attempted na i-ask yung the Don, like, sino yung schizo niyo dyan?
But you've met the Don, right?
Yes, 2001. When they had their first US tour.
Have you always liked music since you were a child?
As far as I could remember, yes, since siguro grade school. Basta mga ilang taon ba ako naman, 1975 or 76. Basta yung mga ganun. Siguro 7 years old, 6 years old. Kasi yung kuya ko nung nasa Project 4 pa kami, marami siyang tapes ng tapes and records ng Beatles and yung mga Pinoy rock, yung mga Juan de la Cruz. So, pag nag-sound trip siya, naririnig ko rin.
Did you play any kind of instrument?
Nope. I tried, pero tamad ako eh.
So you just pretty much listen to music.
Yeah.
So what's your day like when you were younger?
When I was younger, wala. Pretty much, go to school, tapos hang out lang with friends. Yeah. Pero wala pa mga music noon until maybe 84. Noon I started listening to yung mga top 40 sa radio, ganon.
What were you listening to back then?
Kahit ano. Back then kahit ano naman eh. Pero I remember when I was, 5th grade ata, 6th grade, mga 1979. Alam mo yung bandang Hagibis?
Yeah.
Diba? Yung parang Filipino village people. Yun yung parang naging first artist na naging fanboy ako. I would like, yung get the clippings sa newspapers pag may nakikita akong pictures nila. So yun, doon ako nag-start na naging mahilig sa music talaga. Tapos yung dad ko binilan ako ng cassette ng first album nila.
If you like a certain band, you collect things about them and keep memories of them, right? Is there anything that led you to doing that? Like keeping memories of the past, keeping memories of the bands that you like?
Well, syempre, part of being a fanboy noon. Pero parang feeling ko, para sa akin, it's, parang lahat yung mga yun, part ng history ko and history ng banda mismo. So, parang, I need to keep them, document everything. Para, pag tumanda ako, pwede kong basa-basahin. Alam mo yung ganun? Saka minsan may mga let's say yung mga clippings ng mga artist. Minsan may mga lumang ganun na hindi na nag-exist ngayon. Diba? Parang, let's say may mga fanzines or mga hindi kilalang magazines na wala naman silang archive. Pero at least, may natago akong page article nung ganon.
So if we go to your house, would we see a garage full of stuff from the 70s, 80s, all the way to 2000s?
Most of them from 80s, 90s, and 2000s, you know. So, pag napunta ako sa bahay ko, meron ako tinatawag na parang hallway of, you know, Schizo's hallway of parang trash. Tawag ko doon trash, yung mga basura eh. Pero, andun lahat yun. Pretty much organized. Pero may mga stuff na hanggang ngayon hindi ko pa rin naayos.
What are those things? Are they tickets, concert tickets, posters?
Usually when I go to shows, merong 4 things that I must do. I go to shows, kailangan kong i-record, i-record ng audio. Tapos, kailangan I need to get the set list. Yung nakikipaggagawan ako sa set list or nag-aabang ako. And then, I need to get autographs ng artist. So, I would wait sa likod ng venue, especially pag yung mga venue, small clubs. Tapos, at least take photos with them.
Do you have to get all 4 or just one?
Hindi naman. Pero hanggat maaari, yung all 4 na yun. Para kompleto yung experience.
What bands were you listening to? What artists were you listening to when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, siguro when I was in high school, before I got into yung mga new wave alternative, I was into b-boying. So a lot of electro-funk, yung mga old school hip-hop, early old school hip-hop, yung mga Africa Bambata, yung mga ganon, Nucleus, yung mga ganon. Tapos eventually after nalaos yung breakdance sa Pilipinas, siyempre yung mga friends ko, yun na yung parang, hey, listen to this sa WXP 102. So parang yun na yung usually new wave, alternative, mga punk rock. Yun.
Early on, you were into b-boy music, right? I mean, that wasn't a thing in the Philippines. I mean, it wasn't a trendy thing in the Philippines. So would you say that you were looking for something rare or something that not a lot of people listen to?
No, hindi naman. Back then, yung mga b-boy, naging uso rin yung breakdance noong time na yun. Pero sandali lang. Siguro a year lang din. Or 2 years. Pero hindi naman ako naghahanap talaga ng mga rare stuff noon. Pero when I got into like, yung mga WXB 102 stuff, yung mga new wave na, syempre, karamihan ng mga nasa playlist na pinapatugtog noon, usually mga European, British bands, mga ganun na a lot of them, or most of them, yun yung mga wala sa mainstream. So, in order to get the music, you have to like, parang look for the import version or at least yung mga bootlegs. Yung mga ganun lang.
What were your top 5 favorite groups from the 80s?
From the 80s, favorite band ko, Depeche Mode. Tapos, siguro, The Cure. 3 more. Ang hirap naman. The Smiths. Tapos, The Chameleons. The Chameleons, yeah. Saka, I would say U2.
If there's a song that defined the 80s for you, what was it?
Nako, mahina ako sa ganyan eh. For 80s, para sa akin personally, siguro yung because there's this song by Depeche Mode na favorite ko talaga. It's not a popular song, pero it's called The Sun and the Rainfall from the album A Broken Frame. So para sa akin personally, hindi siya nagde-define ng 80s, pero ewan ko, gusto ko yun eh.
What was it about that song?
Oh no, hindi ako magaling sa lyrics. Hindi ko alam eh. But I love the melody. Yung, basta yung sa lyrics, I'm not good with lyrics. Yung mga meaning ng mga songs, hindi ako magaling. I'm usually like into like yung melody lang, yung music itself. Pero when it comes to meaning ng mga songs, sa mga lyrics, ako, hindi ako magaling sa ganun. May mga songs na I would like probably have favorite one-liners, pero that's it lang. Pero the whole, yung song, hindi ko gets yung music kung tungkol saan yan.
When you were in the Philippines, did you go to concerts and gigs? Big concerts, small concerts?
I remember nung bata ako, yung tatandaan ko, we went to see a show at the Araneta Coliseum. Pero parang ano siya variety show ng kay Nora Honor ata o kay Vilma Santos. Basta tatandaan ko no, sinama lang ako. I remember watching Sharon Cuneta on stage na nagpe-perform. Nung, iba, yung bata pa siya nun. Yun lang. Pero yung may edad na ako, siguro ang first concert na officially na kino-consider ko, there was this show called Blast Off at the Metropolitan Theater sa Manila. Ang headliner nun was Identity Crisis. Tapos meron pang two bands, yung Camela Band and the Mohawks. Tapos may mga 102 Club DJs. They would, para may DJ setup then may dancing. So yun yung first concert ko.
Was that concert impactful for you? Did it make a big impact on you?
Yeah, in a way. Kasi ano yun parang andun yung excitement Parang first gig, tapos first time na lumabas ako na nanood ng concert, nakasama ko yung mga friends ko. Ganon. Tapos after na nun, sunod-sunod na. Kung saan may mga, lalo pag libre, pag yung mga free concert sa SM. Kasi back then, sa SM City North EDSA, may ano yun may rooftop sa, yung parking structure niya, may rooftop yun. May mga concerts dati doon. So, we would go there. Tapos may mga away pa nga doon
Was it like a free show? Did you have to
Merong
pay
free
for it?
show, may bayad data ng time na yun. Yeah. Siguro I've been there na 2 times lang. 2 concerts, yeah. There was one called Ethereal Rapture. Andun ang intro voice. Yeah, so got to see them there.
Among the local Filipino bands in the Philippines, which bands do you remember the most?
The Dawn and Identity Crisis. Yeah. Saka yung meron yung punk band yung IOV. Yeah, naalala
What
ko
was
sila.
it about that style of Identity Crisis and The Dawn that you liked?
Well, kasi they were different. They were different sa mga ibang known mainstream bands at that time. Kasi syempre, ang music scene sa Philippines noong time na yun, more on top 40, the usual, yung mga pop singers, yung mga ganon. Pero syempre, ang The Dawn, they were different. Noong time na yun, ang impression namin sa The Dawn and Identity Crisis, parang they were so different that they sounded so parang international. Parang hindi sila Filipino bands.
Were you influenced by goth music?
Yeah. Mahilig ako sa goth. Maski ngayon, there was a time na I would even dress up like all black. Meron akong 6 buckle creepers na galing Pilipinas
Eyeliner?
na hindi naman ako,
Makeup?
I don't do anything sa katawan ko. Hindi ako nag-makeup. Basic lang, more on dressing up black. Pero hindi yung talaga nagme-makeup pa na may mga black lipstick, yung mga ganun. Pero syempre, yung mga t-shirts ko, kailangan yung mga Exmal Deutschland, yung mga German bands, yung mga ganun.
How old were you
Almost
when you
21.
Almost 21?
Almost 21 na.
Well, how was life different from being in the Philippines in Manila to life here in LA? Were you in LA proper?
Eagle Rock.
Eagle Rock.
Eagle Rock. Yeah. Life, syempre, kakaiba. Parang may halong may culture shock ng konti. Kasi syempre, galing kang Pilipinas, sanay ka doon sa mga traffic, yung iba yung environment Tapos pagdating mo ng US, parang, wow, okay dito, medyo malamig. Tapos maluwag yung mga kalye, hindi masyadong crowded. Though parang, in a way, boring kasi parang wala ka na nakikita mga kapitbahay mo, yung mga ganon. Pero syempre, madali naman mag-adjust. Saka syempre, noong time naman na yun, kahit paano, college student na ako. So, alam ko yung mga basic English. So, I could communicate naman sa mga tao. Kaya I remember when I first applied for my first job sa McDonald's, nung interview ako, parang tuwan-tuwa pa yung manager. Oh, you speak English? I'm like, of course, but I study English in the Philippines. Yung ganun lang. Nakakaliw lang. Pero yeah, it was different. Lalo na, syempre, yung communication. Back then, meron akong ex-girlfriend na naiwan So parang, ang hirap ng communication You had to like go to the post office. Naglalakad pa ako para lang mag-mail.
So you really tried to keep that long distance relationship?
Oh yeah. Kasi syempre, no, mahal mo yung tao eh. Parang yung time na yun eh, you were in love. Feeling mo mag-work eh. Pero eventually, di rin pala.
When you moved here, what kind of challenges did you encounter? Was it difficult to find a job, like a real full-time job? What did you do?
Oh, yung first job ko, it was at McDonald's. Saka hindi naman nahirapan kasi it was just like, parang when we got here, after 2 weeks, may trabaho na kagad ako. Kasi yung aunt ko, parang she was working at an office sa may Normandy and Wilshire. May McDonald's sa baba nun. Sa taas nun, andun yung office niya. So parang, apply ka doon sa McDonald's sa baba ng opisina namin. Nag-hire doon sa Filipino managers doon, yung mga ganun-ganon. So wala, one time na punta lang kami, kumain, tapos, you got any job application? Binigyan, fill out lang. Tapos, come back on Wednesday, we're doing an interview. Ganun lang. Tapos na-hired ka agad ako. So, yung time na yun, madali lang. Saka, wala masyadong adjustment na I had to go through.
Did you go to school here?
Lahat, maski sa Pilipinas, hanggang dito, yes, I did. Pero, lang ako, puro campus tour. I didn't get to finish anything. Certified bulakbol. Yeah. Pero dito, I went to, first school ko was Pasadena City College. Siguro a year and a half or 2 years ata ako doon. And then, I got kicked out. Tapos, I went to LACC. That's where I met all the tropa. Sila Benji. Tapos, yung sa may lugar namin, sa may Glendora, Citrus College. I used to go there too.
You went to LA City College. What was the scene like? This is early 90s,
Early
right?
90s,
A lot of Filipino clubs were really active in the community colleges.
Noong time na yun, yes.
What was the scene like back then?
Well, doon sa LACC, talagang pagpasok ko kagad, impression ko kagad, yun, lahat ng mga na-meet ko kagad, puro Pinoy. Ang daming Pilipino doon eh. Tapos, they had their own like groups, kanya-kanyang tambay. May mga tambay dito sa puno, cafeteria. Yung group nila Benji noon, kung saan ako lagi tumatambay, it was called Fallout. Kasi
The Fallout Shelter.
sa Fallout Shelter. Doon. So, yun. So, saka meron kaming Filipino club din noong time na yun. Pero ako naman, never ako naging active sa Filipino club. I mean, we would attend meetings. I mean, ako hatid ako ng meeting. Pero parang wala lang. May mga activities na nag-join din kami. Saka yung, if you remember yung friendship games, tatanda mo yun?
Yeah, there were like a lot.
Siguro nakadalawang friendship games ako na nagpunta
Yeah,
ako.
there were a lot of intra,
Yung
like sports fests. Like intramural
masaya
sports
nga
fests.
yun eh. Masaya nga yun eh. Di ba sa siya? Sa may...
Pomona.
Hindi yung
Cal
isa...
Poly Pomona.
Fullerton. No,
Fullerton,
may time na sa Fullerton yung napuntahan ko eh. Outside Fullerton.
I remember that because I was at LA Valley College at that time, and we met a lot of people from the different universities and community colleges, like the Filipino clubs, right?
Yan. Ewan ko lang ngayon kung active pa sila yung friendship games, kung meron pa yan. Pero dati talaga yun yung parang nilulook forward ng mga clubs parang friendship games.
Yeah, that's where you find out that there's a lot of Filipinos
Yeah,
in LA.
Oo, madami. Ang daming mga Filipino clubs sa mga universities.
How did you get into the rock scene? Was it when you were at LA City College?
Well, yung mga Filipino rock scene na. Yeah, mga 91, 90. Kasi nung time na yun, na-meet namin sila. Doon yung mga barkada talaga. So, yung mga original na barkada ko, sila Benji, sila Andrew, sila Bernard. Doon nagpunta kami doon kami nag-aral din. Doon kami nagbubulakbol. So sila yung mga music-minded. Sila yung mga marurunong mag-play ng instruments. So nag-form sila ng band. So yung banda nila noon, time na yon, parang, alam mo yung pag may mga Filipino events, tutugtog sila. So, mostly cover tunes lang. Tapos, so after going sa LACC, siguro mga 94, wala na ako sa LACC noong time na yun. Nagtuloy pa rin sila magbanda. Eventually, yung banda nila, naging yung medyo seryoso na ng konti. They were called, ano yung pangalan nila nun? Milk, and then they became Caesar's Bale. Parang ganon. Tapos yun So, naging active na kami na parang, syempre ako yung original groupie, parang original fan eh. So, pag may tugtugan, sama lang ako nasama sa kanila. And then 94, they started playing sa Maxis Cerritos, Maxis Fried Chicken. So, parang doon namin na-discover na, uy, nice, may mga iba palang banda nagtutugtugan. So, yun, you meet people, you meet other bands. Tapos hanggang 95, nagtayo na kami ng parang, show tayo ng sarili natin. And that was yung Local Pinoy, sila na una.
What made you want to go into producing shows? Did you want to be involved but you didn't know how to play instruments and
Yung
stuff
nga,
like that?
well, siguro, dahil lang sa love for music. Yun yung parang naging passion mo. You know, so, saka nung time na yun, kasi when we did that gig in 95, kasi nga, kami lang naman na magbabarkada yung nagbuo nun eh. Parang hindi naman talaga para mag-produce ng shows na marami. Parang yun lang, one time lang. Hanggang sa naulit. And then yung like producing shows naman na kunyari, mga galing banda, ano lang yun, accidental lang talaga yun kung tutusin.
What made you want to produce big bands from the Philippines and bringing them here?
Hindi, yun nga. Like I said, yung bringing in bands from Philippines, aksidente lang yun kung tutusin. Kasi ang backstory no, like in 1997, yung Eraserheads, they had their first US tour, San Francisco and LA. Noong time na yun, ang mga producers nung tour, college friend ni Ellie Buendia. Tapos, yung college friend niya yon na barkada namin, kaibigan namin noong time na yun. So, parang tumulong lang kami. Ako parang amuyong lang. I'm not officially part of the production. Pero since barkada, alam mo yung asungot ka lang na, sama ako ganyan. Tapos, yung Eraserheads tour na yun, they didn't have any roadies with them. So kami yung parang tumulong sa kanila, nag-help out, nagda-drive around sa kanila, nagpapasyal, nagra-run ng errands. Tapos, after nung tour, siguro after a few months, siguro dahil sa impact nung pagtulong namin sa kanila, gumawa ng kanta si Ellie Buendia, yung Balikbayan Box, ang title niya, sa Sticker Happy, Tapos may sinabi sa akin ni Sancho, yung dating sound engineer nila, Liban, may surprise yung banda sa iyo Tapos yung pala, sinali yung names namin to sa songs. So yung may part dun sa song na dumating si Allen, Haro, Maida at Levan. So ako, si Haro, Maida, siya yung girlfriend ni Haro noong time na yun. Tapos si Allen, yung isang tropa namin from Simi Valley. So parang naaliw lang kami, okay nilagay kami sa kanta. Tapos, September 1997, after, nung na-release yung album, eksakto, they were in New York for the MTV Awards. Diba yung nanalo sila nung MTV Awards? Nakuha ko yung hotel number nila. Tapos, tinawagan ko sila. Kumustahan? Tapos, ang laging bukang bibig nila, Livan, gusto namin bumalik ng LA, i-produce nyo kami. Parang ganon. Ako sagot ko naman, wala kaming, hindi ko alam, wala kaming alam diyan sa ganyan. Tapos, sinabi ko sa utol ko kay Haro, sabi niya, nakusap ko i-heads produce daw natin sila. Pero syempre, ganun din ang reaction niya, parang wala naman kaming alam diyan, wala tayong alam sa ganyan. Tapos, hanggang sa parang napag-isip-isip lang na, bakit hindi? Yeah, we should, ganun. So, fast forward, ginawa namin yung 98 tour nila. Pero yung 98 tour na yon, talagang for Eraserheads tour lang talaga yon. Tapos, that was 98, nakadalawang Eraserheads tour kami na 98. And then, 2000, they came up with a new album nung 99. Tapos 2000, tinur namin yon, yung Pop Machine tour. And then after 2002, they disbanded na. So, tapos na. Tapos, wala, parang one day lang, yung kapatid ko parang, tara, tuloy natin. Ano ba next band? So, sabi ko, sige, kilala ko yung manager ng parokya, kontakin natin. Yun na. Hanggang sa naging sunod-sunod na. Parang kumbaga, kinareer na.
What does it entail to produce a large show like that, like massive scale shows, multi-cities? What does it take to produce something like that?
Siyempre, kailangan ng malaking pera. Budget, di ba? Tapos, you gotta take care of their visas. Yung mga ganon. Basta marami. Tapos, siyempre, you gotta get the venues. Tapos, yung mga ibang cities. Siyempre, kung di mo naman teritoryo, you gotta look for parang yung mga local producer do sa certain cities na yun na who would be willing to produce the band. Yung ganon. Hanggang sa pag nabuo mo na yun, then there goes the tour. Ang daming logistics. Pero nakakapagod, pero masaya. Rock and roll eh.
Where do you find the funding for it? Because usually that's like the number one thing. Where do you find the funding to produce all these things?
Hindi, usually, syempre, dapat may budget yung utol ko. Ako, wala akong budget eh. So, siya, may budget. Tapos, minsan, may mga mag-i-invest, may mga partners din, yung gano'n. Pero halos lahat naman, usually, parang kami lang talaga eh. Hindi naman kami mahilig kumuha ng sponsors. Dati, lalo na dati. Kasi hindi naman namin, parang we didn't know how to, reach out sa mga companies. Parang I remember no 1998 for the E-Heads, we tried sending a letter sa Northwest. Sa mga airlines, Northwest Airlines, mga puro syempre rejected lahat 'yun. Well, so parang wala na, parang wag na. We'll do it our own na lang. Parang ganun.
When you're faced with rejections like that, what makes you go on and say, "Oh, let's just do it and do whatever it takes to get the show done"?
Hindi, siguro nga kasi nga, syempre, you wanted to do it. So, andun pa rin yung passion mo eh. Passion for rock and roll talaga. Parang, nasanay naman kami na parang kami lang na eh. Parang okay lang yun pag walang sponsors. It's all good. Tuloy pa rin. Basta kaya mong i-fund naman eh, di okay lang. Diba? Pero yun. Saka mas okay minsan yung walang sponsors eh. Parang wala kang contractual obligation sa mga kung sino man na, di ba, pag may mga sponsors, minsan, parang you have to do this, you have to... minsan nakakaasar yung ganun eh. Parang wala kang choice eh. Di ba? Pero pag ikaw lang, walang sponsors, parang, siyempre, kung ano yung gusto mong gawin, kung anong pagpapatakbo ng tour or ng shows yung gusto mong mangyari, wala ko kontra, walang aangal.
Out of all the shows that you produced, what's the most memorable one aside from the Eraserheads tour?
Naku, ang dami kasi. Ang dami.
Give me like the top 3.
Oh, man. Alam mo, madami. Pero I wouldn't say favorite yung tour, pero kasi I would say yung mga artists that you get to work with, masaya kasama kasi. Siguro I would say parokya talaga, especially yung mga early tours, masaya kasama mga parokya kasi ang kukulit eh. Tapos yung mga kamikaze, masaya kasama yung mga yan. December Avenue, masaya rin kasama yung mga yan. So, basta more yung mga nami-meet mo yung mga artists. Tapos nakakasama mo. Yun yung mga memorable, yung mga may mga siyempre may mga ginagawa kayo pasyal or mga nangyayari na minsan hindi pwedeng sabihin. Yung mga ganun. Pero masaya.
Going back to all of those things that you experienced, like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, what groups, international groups, not just Filipino groups, are your favorite in terms of the style or the musical genre?
I'd say Oasis. Sila yung favorite band para sa akin, especially in the 90s. Parang doon ako naging talaga yung fanboy sa kanila. So every time they go on tour, kailangan nandun ako. Pero I got to miss one tour din, na-miss ko eh.
Were you in the last one?
Siyempre. I was at the Manchester show, saka doon sa first night ng Rose Bowl, Pasadena.
What is it about Oasis?
I would say yung attitude nila. Especially kay Liam Gallagher. Basta iba yung angas eh, yung swagger niya iba eh. I mean, sa mata ng karamihan, sa mata ng media, sila, bad boys. Pero in person, they're nice people. Especially sa mga fans.
With the sibling rivalry, who would you choose, Noel or Liam?
No, Liam fan ako eh. So I'd say Liam talaga. Pero syempre, siya yung vocals, iba yung songwriter, magaling yung songwriter eh. Pero Liam ako eh.
Aside from Oasis, which groups or singers or bands do you like?
Alam mo madami yung musical taste ko talaga napaka-diverse. I listen to a lot. I mean, iba-ibang styles. I could listen to like those hardcore punk talaga, punk rock na standard, punk rock na talagang yung maingay,
Hardcore?
mga hardcore talaga. I could listen to lahat, mga new metal. Ang hindi lang siguro ako masyadong mahilig, I would say, hindi ako masyadong mahilig sa ayoko yung mga masyadong, meron yung, di ba, may mga terms sila, yung mga dark metal, yung mga black metal, yung
About
mga ganun.
country?
I mean, hindi ako masyadong mahilig, pero pwede ko siyang, pakinggan minsan. You know. Tapos, maski sa mga top 40 mga, yung mga pop artists I would listen to them. You know, it's not my favorite, pero pwede ako makinig ng Taylor Swift kung gusto ko. Maski Britney Spears, meron pa nga akong Britney Spears shirt dati. I even went to see NSYNC noong 2000. Diba? Tapos yung anak ko, I remember yung anak ko in 2014, she was into, ba yung mga British boy group, One Direction. Dinala ko pa siya, nanood kami ng One Direction, nag-enjoy naman ako. I mean, I could...
Are you into Korean,
Yes.
Korean hip-hop, K-pop?
Hindi masyado marami, pero nakikinig din ako ng K-pop. Yung first K-pop ko was probably 20... Kailan na uso yung Nobody But You, yung Wonder Girls. Yun yung parang first K-pop ko. And then, 21 yung kay
2NE1,
Sanda, diba? And then 2012, nanood ako nung may show na andun yung Girl Generation. Basta meron parang K-pop festival sa Irvine noong 2012. Nanood kami ng mga friends ko no kasi yung friends ko mahilig sa K-pop. Tapos yung sister-in-law ko no mahilig sa K-pop. So sige, sama, let's go. Nanood kami, andun nata yung 21 nata no. Tapos yung Girl Generation. Yun, nakikinig ako no. Tapos meron yung noong 2018, yung sa K-Con. Nanood ako nung concert noon. Andun yung Twice. Twice saka yung Momoland ata yun kasi ang ganda ng babae doon, si Nancy. Pero ngayon yung mga bagong K-pop di na ako masyadong updated except for mayroong bagong artist yung Cortez. Basta mga bata favorite ng mga pamangkin ko yun Lagi pinapatugtog sa bahay. So yun. Pinapakinggan ko rin yun. Go! Pero masaya. I listen to everything talaga.
In terms of trends, what do you see happening in the music industry nowadays?
Hindi na kasi ako masyadong updated sa music industry per se. Pero siguro, maganda kasi parang iba-ibang style naman. Ang dami Di ba? Parang lahat ng bands, artists, may kanya-kanya silang market naman na they're all pretty much doing good. Di ba? Parang diba, ang dali na kasi ma-access sa music ngayon especially yung mga young kids. So I think it's good, masaya, very diverse. Parang di ba meron yung band ngayon yung Turnstile. Ano nga rin yun kung tutusin, ang roots nun hardcore punk yun Pero ngayon medyo syempre mainstream na so maraming mga new fans.
What sound from the past do you want to hear again? Do you want to make a comeback?
Sounds from the past. I can't think of one. Ano ba? Disco. Why not? Disco. Para trip lang, no? Di ba?
Yeah.
Baka mabuhay yung mga John Travolta yun. Di ba? Staying Alive. Disco, I would say disco.
Yeah.
Kasi halos lahat naman ng genre. Ako, I never consider anything na they die. Yung mga trends, yung mga uso. Siyempre, in the eyes of the mainstream, they die. Parang pag sinabi nila, punk is dead. Para sa kanila, it's dead. Pero nothing really dies. Yung mga eksena, yung mga scene, they don't die. They're always there. They just go underground again. Diba? Pero wala na mamatay. So like right now, kung sabihin mo puro K-pop ngayon, baka eventually magsasawa na rin ang tao sa K-pop. Mawawala na sila. Pero they're not gonna go. parang andun pa rin yun. Hindi na sila siguro sila magiging as popular as, ngayon, di ba? Pero they don't die.
Speaking of the underground scene, you've created and founded the local Pinoy Sila scene. How did that come about?
Yun nga, wala akong fina-found. Parang kami lang naman tropa namin, yung 95. So yung local Pinoy sila na gig, it was 95. Pero yung like yung supposedly eksena, we didn't start it. Siguro naman back in the days, meron ng mga film musicians. Kasi I remember when I was still at LACC nung 1992, across the street ng LACC, there was a record shop. So, nagpupunta kami doon. Pag naghahanap ako ng mga records, mga CDs, ganun. One time nakakita ko doon ng plaka ng isang film artist na parang, alam mo, hindi kilala, parang nobody. Pero parang he produced his own record, label niya. Parang, kakaliw, Pilipino, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos, parang LA pa yung record label niya. So yung pa lang, noong time na pa lang yan, marirealize na may mga local musicians na gumagawa ng music. Tapos, sa eksena naman, siguro, yung nung nanood kami sa Maxis noon, meron ng eksena na meron ng nag-gigs ng mga Filipino bands. May mga banda na like yung Brownstorm Satin, yung mga Natalio Brothers. Yun yung parang kinukonsider naming OG. Tapos may mga nagpapa-battle of the bands na rin noong time na yon. Pero nung kami naman, nung pumasok na kami doon, mas lalo lang siguro, nagkaroon kami ng networking ba? Parang we meet new bands, yung ibang banda, tapos maggigig sila palagi, magpa-partner sila, magsa-set up ng shows, yung gano'n lang. Tapos noong 98, nauso na yung mga Yahoo groups, mga e-groups. We started meeting people from New York, San Francisco, na meron din silang sariling eksena doon na from 95 pa or 96, meron na rin sila. So nagkaroon na ng mga networking through mailing list lang. Nagkakaroon na ng networking. Tapos, may time na yung mga bands from New York, they would play in LA. I-invite na, yung gano'n. So, masaya nung time na yun talagang lumawak yung eksena. Tapos hanggang sa malalaman mo na meron ding eksena sa Guam, meron akong compilation tape ng compilation CD ng mga bands sa Guam na they had their own thing too. Meron din sa Chicago. So, masaya. Parang ang ganda eh. Kapag lahat may mga eksena, buong US, at least yung mga key cities ng US, may mga sarili silang mga film scenes.
What did you hope to accomplish with local Pinoy Sila?
Doon sa eksena, sa local Pinoy itself, siguro, wala naman, pero at least I wanted to see a band na from our community na mababaw lang yung trip ko. Parang mapatugtog lang sa radio na, di ba, yung parang makatugtog lang sila na, let's say, they could play a small venue, let's say, yung mga Whiskey A Go Go. Yung mga ganun lang, malilit lang na venue, pero meron silang following na hindi Pinoy. Alam mo, yung parang, kunyari, you wanna go see Something Came Up or Zip Code, you wanna go see them na tumutugtog sila sa isang venue na hindi ako or tayo yung crowd. Gusto mo yung makikita mo yung mga white boys, yung mga Latino na nakikinig sa kanila. Yung gusto ko yung gano'n lang, yung merong maka-crossover. Pero syempre, depende na sa banda yan eh. Kasi may mga bands na okay na sila playing sa Filipino crowd. Yung iba naman, meron talaga yung mga masisipag na they wanna play kahit saan na makakuha ng ibang audience.
What's your advice for the Pinoy bands that are here locally? What's your advice for them if they want to play other venues or to play for other audiences?
Hindi ko na alam yung sistema ngayon eh. Do they still send demos on CDs or puro EPK or links lang? So they should just promote themselves. Wag silang umasa sa ibang tao. Dapat sila yun eh. They're the artists, they're the bands. they gotta promote themselves sa mga venues or sa mga promoters na kahit hindi Pinoy. Dapat sila yung magsipag. They gotta kumbaga mag-gig lang sila na mag-gig lagi. Kasi may mga iba na tamad parang they just wait for a promoter to invite them. Diba? Which is fine, pero syempre iba yung ikaw yung nagpupursige. Magpakasipag ba?
Going back to when you were a young kid, when you were just listening to all these records, you had all these music collection. Did you ever think you would someday be producing the likes of Eraserheads or Parokya ni Edgar, or having a local Pinoy sila scene here locally in LA that everyone goes to?
No. Never ko naisip yan. Basta, ang alam ko lang, I just listen to music. Mahilig lang ako sa banda, mahilig lang ako sa tugtugan. Never really thought na we'd be doing shows, yung mga ganun. Never. Wala sa yun. Hindi ko na-envision yun. Nung medyo bata-bata pa ako, ang parang pangarap ko lang na I wanted to do, I wanted to sana to become like a record label A&R. Kasi nga mahilig ako manood ng gigs.
Yeah.
And parang meron akong thing na, alam mo alam mo yung instinct mo na if you see a band na okay to, pwede to. Yung ganon.
Yeah.
Parang meron akong ganon. Or it's either to become an A&R or maging music director ng isang radio station. Gusto ko yung ako magde-decide ng playlist. Yung parang, gusto ko ito yung rotation for this month. Kasi syempre, parang, alam ko yung tenga ko Alam ko yung
Yeah.
taste. Parang ganon.
If you were an A&R person, what criteria would you have for musicians or artists or bands?
Criteria. Kailangan yung original music nila, kailangan maganda, catchy, yung swak sa trip ko. Saka hindi ako mahilig sa image. So parang I don't look at the way they dress up on stage, yung mga ganon. Mas gusto ko I wanna hear the music. Saka gusto ko makita yung performance nila. Ayoko nung boring minsan Alam mo yung maganda music mo, medyo maingay, medyo rock and roll yung music mo, tapos nakatayo ka lang on stage. Parang ang boring nun. So, gusto ko yung whatever I hear, gusto ko, nakikita ko rin sa stage, gano'n na, gumagalaw ka. You can't be just like standing up and parang hindi ka nag-enjoy. So, yeah.
In a way, would producing a show be similar to being an A&R person? Because it's almost similar to building a playlist and having
Yeah,
it on
pero
rotation.
Ewan ko, for doing a show, kasi halos lahat naman ng shows na we did o yung mga tours na we did, parang syempre kung ano yung in-demand na Filipino act, parang yun yung gusto mong dalhin. Diba? So parang hindi naman siguro. Basta kung ano yung sikat, in-demand. Pero usually, kahit ganun yung mga bands, let's say, if there was this band na parang sasabihin ng utol ko, band, gusto mo, dali natin tong banda na to. Parang sikat ngayon to Pero pag hindi ko type yung music, parang, wag yan. Baka ano lang yan, one hit wonder lang yan. Lugi dyan, lugi.
It's still a personal preference, right?
Yes.
Not because you're gonna make a lot of
No.
money.
Minsan, talagang andun pa rin yung personal preference talaga. So, ayoko nung pagka yung, yun ang maganda sa amin ng utol ko. Siyempre, utol ko yung he's the boss. So, pero tinatanong niya ako ng suggestions din na kung trip or okay ba yung ganun. And nakikinig naman siya. So, pag hindi namin kursanado yung banda, wag yan. So, we wouldn't do it kahit sabi mong sikat pa yan. Saka minsan kasi takot kami sa sikat parang dahil buting na ako nagmura. Parang yung may mga banda na parang baka maarte yan. Alam mo yan, baka diba yung mga yan. Wag yan. Yung ganun.
Would you say they're popular is sort of like a deterrent in that sense? Like it would deter you or like not make you get them because you're afraid they might be a certain way?
Yeah. Oo. May mga ganun factors talaga. I mean, mahirap magsalita pero minsan ganun Pag you don't wanna, parang ayaw mo ng mga toxic environment pag sobrang arte yung banda. 'Di ba? You don't wanna deal with it. 'Di ba?
And so, if there are people out there who want to be a music producer, a concert producer like you, what would your advice be?
Wait, yung basta music producer hindi ako yun ha. Wala akong pera lagi.
Concert producer.
Basta yung utol ko. Wait. Ano uling question mo? Nawala tuloy ako. Ang daldal
Okay,
ko
again,
kasi.
let's do it again. If there are people out there
Okay.
who would
Oh.
like to be a concert producer, what will your advice be to them?
Well, I guess first you gotta have the budget, di ba? And also you gotta love what you do. Yung dapat mahilig ka doon sa banda, gusto mo yung banda, gusto mo yung music. You love music in general. Hindi pwede yung parang mayaman ka lang na may pera tapos you're gonna get into booking bands from the Philippines or whatever. Kailangan andun yung passion mo. Andun yung love mo sa music, do sa banda, do sa artist. Hindi pwedeng dinadaan mo lang sa pera. Kasi pagka ganun lang, hindi maganda yun. Andun dapat yung passion talaga. And syempre, eventually, alam mo dapat yung papasukin mo yung lahat, yung mga logistics nun. Dapat pag-aralan mo. Kami noong una, hindi namin alam, wala kaming experience sa gano'n. So, parang we had to, parang find out everything. And then, every tour, every show, may mga things na nangyayari, na may mga times na parang wala pa, yung, kunyari, wala talagang contract, puro verbal lang. Tapos marami, pag hindi mo nasunod or may maririnig-rinig ka na, eventually matututo ka na lahat, everything is on paper. Ganon. Tapos matututo ka na parang you do your things your own instead of relying on other people na gawin yon para sa iyo. Parang yun, kunyari, nung first tour namin, parang paano ba kumuha ng visa? 'Di ba? O hanap ka ng immigration lawyer. So kumuha lang kami ng mga typical Filipino newspaper. Tapos pakita namin, eto, lawyer. They do immigration. Yung kinontak lang. O di yun, may lawyer ka na. O ano gagawin? O, submit this, submit that. O yun lang. So, kumbaga natututo ka.
Where can we find you? Do you have new events coming up?
No, well, Happy Box, we're on like hiatus right now. Pero yung sa mga local shows, I don't know if I'm gonna be doing one again. Pero yung ibang mga friends naman, mga ibang promoters, maraming shows So may mga upcoming shows sila. Pero for now, wala.
If you want to be known by something, what will your legacy be?
Damn, that's too deep. I don't know. Siguro, I just wanted to be known as si Levan, si Schizo, one of the coolest person na mamimit mo. One of the nicest person na mamimit mo. Totoo lang yan. I'm so nice. Talagang pinagyabang. Yes, I am nice.
Yes, you are nice.
I am nice. I am very nice. Kumbaga, ako yung tamang gusto mo maging kaibigan. Pero wag mong utangan kasi walang pera. Pero yeah, yun basta Schizo, one cool guy. That's my legacy.
Thank you so much for being with us, Levan. And everyone out there, thank you so much for watching Chat with Mick, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Tang and Java. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out.